안녕하세요 tout le monde, 我是 You. So today I'll be talking about the Tokyo subway system. Some of you have requested me to do this video, and I also thought it would be very helpful for those of you who are either moving to Tokyo or if you're just traveling here. It is a little bit complicated to use, especially if it's your first time here. Hopefully this video will be helpful for you guys, and let's get started. First of all, there are lots of lines as you can see on the map. There are 3 different companies that operate within central Tokyo. First, there's the Tokyo Metro, which has 9 lines, and Toei, which operates 4 lines, as well as the Yamanote line by JR. The reason I consider Yamanote line as one of the main subway lines is because it goes in a loop and it goes to all the important areas of Tokyo. There are other trains and lines and companies that go further out of Tokyo, but today I will just stick to the main ones within central Tokyo. Also, I want to say there are lots of booklets and pamphlets and also maps of the subway system inside the stations, but I don't really recommend relying on those to navigate the subway system. I recommend 2 different apps. One is the Tokyo Subway app, and also another one is Google Maps. So there are 3 ways that allow you to get into the subway. So first of all, obviously it's buying tickets, and the second way is to buy an IC card where you can charge up anytime you run out of money. And the third way is getting day passes. Alright, so let's talk about tickets first. It may be a little bit different in Tokyo than what you're used to in your home country or other countries that you have traveled to. Here, to buy single tickets for the subway, you need to know before you get your tickets how much money it costs you to complete your trip. This is a reason I highly recommend using the Google Maps and also the Tokyo Subway app, because without those 2 apps, it may be a little bit difficult to figure out the ticket price that you would need. There are maps and guidelines on top of the ticket machines, and you can definitely also ask the station master. But if you're new to the city, and especially if you don't understand the language, these may be a little bit tricky to figure out. And you definitely don't want to spend more money than you need to get to your destination. If you use the Tokyo Subway app or the Google Maps, and it will tell you the exact amount that you need to pay for the ticket. In order to buy tickets, go to any ticket machine, pick the language that you feel most comfortable with, and choose the amount of money it costs you to complete your trip, and then put in your money. You can use either bills or coins. Credit cards are not accepted, and you cannot use those 1-yen coins. And after you put in the money, it will give you a ticket. Be careful to hold this ticket until the end of your trip, because you need to insert it when you enter the subway and also when you exit the subway. And in case you have to transfer in between, you also have to insert this ticket into the ticket gates. If you need to transfer between different companies, for example, if you need to take the Hanzomo line operated by Tokyo Metro and transfer to the Oedo line operated by the Toei company, you have to make sure that you select the line that you will be transferring to and then choose the correct amount for the ticket. And if somehow you need to change your destination or you've changed your mind on which line to take, then there are these fare adjustments machines right before you exit the subway where you can change your ticket price to the one that would actually allow you to exit the subway. Using single tickets, I don't quite recommend it. If you're traveling in Tokyo for more than a few days, or if you're living here, definitely get an IC card. So this is another way that would allow you to use the Tokyo subway system, and in my opinion, this is a much more efficient way to use the subway, both in cost and also in time. So for IC cards, there are 2 different kinds that you can get. One is called Pasmo and one is called Suica. Some have told me that Suica may be a little bit more useful if you are outside of Tokyo in more distant areas in Japan. But basically, they both allow you to ride the subway, the bus, trains, all throughout Japan. There's no clear advantage or disadvantage between the 2. I would say just get whichever one is convenient for you when you first arrive in Japan. You can get Suica cards at JR stations and you can get Pasmo cards at subway stations. So it totally just depends on where you are the first time you try to buy the card. So to use these cards, it's really simple. You do not have to know how much your trip cost beforehand. You scan the card when you get into the subway, and you scan the card again when you get out of the subway or when you need to transfer between lines, and it will calculate the fare automatically for you. So this definitely saves a lot of time trying to look up where you need to go beforehand and how much the trip costs. And also it saves you between 5 to 20 yen, which is about 5 to 20 cents. It may not seem like much for one trip, but it definitely adds up as you go. Since I have a Pasmo card, I'll show you how to get one. So just go to any of the machine, you choose the initial amount you want to deposit onto your card, but be careful here because the first time you buy a new Pasmo, the amount of money you choose includes a 500 yen deposit. So let's say if you choose to have 2,000 yen on your card, what you actually get is a new card and also 1,500 yen on the card. And the 500 yen deposit you can get back if you decide to return your card at the end of your trip. But I definitely recommend keeping it either as a souvenir or also saving it for the next time you come back to Japan, because these cards are valid for 10 years. If you run out of money and you need to charge your card, just go to the same ticket machines and choose the amount you want to put on your card. You can actually charge from as little as 10 yen to however much you want. Alright, finally let's talk about day passes. A lot of you who are visiting Japan may be interested in this option because it allows you to ride the subway for as many times as you want within a certain time frame. So there are 3 different types of day passes. Because there are different companies that operate lines in Tokyo, you have different options to choose whether you want to stick to one company or you want a day pass that allows you to go between the companies freely. So the cheapest type is the Tokyo Metro Day Pass. So if you do a little bit of strategic planning beforehand, it actually can save you quite a bit of money. So let's say you have a 24-hour pass and you scan in for the first time at 9 a.m. in the morning. This card will actually be available for use until 9 a.m. the next day. It will not expire at midnight the same day. Then the second type of passes you can get is a one-day Tokyo Metro and Toei pass. And it will allow you to use the Tokyo subway and Toei lines freely. Now the last pass you could get is a one-day free pass. This will allow you to ride all 14 lines in Tokyo and also buses. So if you think you will be needing lots of different ways to get to your destination, then pick this option and then you can use it freely between all the transportation methods. Now finally, you have bought your ticket or bought your passes or bought your card. So now you're in the middle of the complicated Tokyo subway system and you need to know how to navigate it. It's actually not too complicated, although it takes time to get used to, because first of all, there are so many different lines. Second, there are so many different stations. And third, there are so many people around you and they make it seem very overwhelming. 2 things to keep in mind here. The subway system actually has very clear signs. So all the signs are labeled in Japanese and English. There are screens, signs, boards and maps and directories that try to help you to make your trip a little bit simpler. Keep using your Google Maps because that's your best friend. So when you get into the subway, make sure you know which direction you are going to. If you used Google Maps or if you ask somebody for direction, you should know which way to go. So just look at the signs and head to the correct platform. Also, you can look at the signs on the platform to double check that you're heading into the right direction. I also have a little trick that I think is quite useful. There are some of these directories that you can find on the platform. So it shows all the stations of this line and then you can see where you are at the moment. And for every single station, it tells you which train car is closest to what exit. This is extremely useful if you need to transfer, because sometimes on the same platform there can be different exits to transfer to different lines, and if you head toward one wrong direction, you will have a hard time finding your way. So before you get onto the subway, just check which train car will be the closest to the correct exit or transfer that you need to take and get onto that car. You can check the car number on the tracks, or sometimes it's labeled on the platform. There are also screens on all the subway cars. Some may be a little fancier than others, but it always tells you the information that you need to know, like what the next station is, which side of the door will open. A lot of times it also tells you where the nearest exits are and which exit is on which side. So definitely use these screens to save you time and also to make sure that you don't get lost once you get off. Some of you may think you've reached your final station and that's it. Be careful to know which exit to take before you actually get out of the subway, because sometimes it can be a long way to go if you get out of the wrong exit. So again, Google Maps is your best friend. If you zoom in enough on the Google Maps, it will actually show the exit number of that station. There are also maps inside of the subway that show you the surrounding areas. This is also really helpful because a lot of times they mark important buildings, touristic places, and some popular destinations. So up until now, if you kept watching this whole time, you should be okay navigating the subway system, but there are a few things you should be careful about. So first of all, you need to watch out what kind of gates that you're using when you're getting into or out of the subway. So especially if you're using a ticket, be careful here because some of the gates only take IC cards and don't have a slot for a ticket. Also, when you're transferring, make sure you transfer within 30 minutes. Last thing I want to mention, you cannot go in and out of the same station without paying. Somebody told me that you could scan your card from the same station and go out of a different exit of the same station without being charged, but that's not the case. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope it was helpful, and please leave me more suggestions on what kind of videos you want to see next. I think I'm gonna make a series about living or traveling in Tokyo to give you guys tips and tricks about different things in Japan. If you are interested in that, give this video a thumbs up and I will make more videos like this. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more from me in the future, and I'll see you next time. Bye!